We're entering the studio with a new theme song. Let me know if you like it. Hello, hello.
Hello. My name is Sabrina.
My name is Katarina. Divine. We love divine. I feel like it's
Oh,
but yeah. How are you guys doing?
we're chilling in the sun. By the way, I don't know if you know this,
Enough with the theme
but tomorrow is going to snow
song. Oh yeah, it's true.
15 to 20 centimeters. I just want to point out that it's April here in Montreal,
Yeah.
Quebec. It's
Apparently.
insane in the membrane. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's really beautiful out here, blue sunshine.
But everybody talks about I feel like there's always one winter snowstorm in April.
Yeah, I do. Always.
All the time.
Yeah, always.
All the time.
But it's a bitch. Like,
Annoying,
it's like
yeah.
annoying. So
I mean,
like,
it is what it is. I think I've come to accept it.
Yeah, I don't care either. But it's like annoying. It's like, let's get on with the summer, right?
But are people ready? Like, I feel like people are not ready for the summer. I feel like Montreal's never ready fully
Because
to step into the new.
interesting
You know?
you say that. Although there's people with shorts outside
Yeah.
and sandals because it's like, oh my god, it's 5 degrees
That doesn't mean-
Celsius.
That doesn't mean you're ready to step into the new version of yourself, which what summer is all about. No, it's supposed to be like, well, then again, we're supposed to be in spring.
Right.
There's like
A disconnect
Mm.
with the seasons here. So to me, weather is actually a mirror of the citizens of the city or the country or whatever. I really feel that
I think it could be
because
100%.
if we're like, anyways, whatever.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So if you're new to the channel, what we do is we take a oracle deck every week, a
time.
new one. We're doing Work Your Light with
By Rebecca
Campbell. And we just shuffle, we get a card, and we talk from there. Unfiltered,
Unscripted. Unleashed.
and raw.
Unleashed.
So that's why we don't really know
unleashed.
every episode. We just go for it.
And we're getting unleashed into the internet.
And we
world.
get the Age of Light.
Oh,
You've been training for this for lifetimes.
interesting.
So that's an interesting thing because I mean, now we know it because you've been training for this for lifetimes. It's like, so how many of you out there do believe that you've been here for hundreds, thousands, millions of years, right? Like we do. Like I believe, right? How many years do you believe that you think you're here for?
Too long.
Okay, if you didn't listen to last episode, Katarina so graciously expressed her separation issues
cycle. It's just a cycle that needs to be broken.
With the stars,
that
where
means.
she is from. So she doesn't know why she's here. She
No, it's
feels
much more of a question of like, you know, that feeling of not wanting to be here, just not wanting to
that's what it
exist.
is.
Not necessarily that it's just a question of like, what's the whole point?
it's enough.
What's the whole
basically.
point? What's the whole point?
She's ready to go.
What's the whole point? You know, you live the experience, you have fun, you enjoy, and then what? And then what? And then what? And when I figure it out, you'll be the first to know. But until then, the theme is the Age of Light. And it says here, you've been trained.
You've been doing this for lifetimes, which we have. And I do Akashic records, so I go into your past lives, and it's like a library of all your past lives. So like it's so you're able to transmute some of this energy. It's a lot of like we've been training this. I mean, we come. I don't know. You know what? I always think about this.
What?
Like we come in lifetime after lifetime to densify our body, really, right? Because we bring in new experiences, we bring in new like we experience new fears and new guilts and new anxieties, and then when we die, do they fully release? I guess so, because we don't have the same vessel when we walk into this one. But does our soul get it? Is our soul like, I always think about it, is our soul like imprinted with this and it does carry into the next vessel?
You mean the lessons?
Yeah.
Or the density?
Because we all have deja vus and we all have our past lives. Like, oh yeah, you have that moment that you think I was a gypsy, I was a this. So you still remember those moments.
My impression was always that you're here to clear the density. We've been here to come and clear the density and density and density. So it's like we'll have the déjà vu is only because it's part of the DNA that has now transformed into a lighter density or form.
So that means that we do carry on lifetime after lifetime the memories, because our Akash lives, right? Our Akash does exist. You know who carries our Akashic records? Whales.
Why whales?
They're the oldest mammal on this earth. And you know, like the Save the Whales, it was a big thing that they were killing whales. And in a bigger picture, they carry the Akashic records of the human.
Oh, interesting.
And the dolphins, but the whales do.
I know the dolphins have like a huge vibration. Like they have like
4 brains. Both of them.
Like literally. I don't know much about whales, but they do have this presence about them, and you know they're smart because the way they interact with humans, both of them, it's crazy. I don't even know if we can call them mammals. I feel like they're from another. I think they feel like they're from outer space a lot of the times.
I mean, I guess we are from outer space.
I guess. But what is space?
What is space, anyways? All right, what? Yeah, seriously, what is the cosmos? It's right here. I don't know. This is like interesting. We can, yeah. So what do you think? Like, have you heard about the whales carrying the Akashic records? To me, I have actually. I listened to this. Have you ever heard of Cryon?
No.
And it's a channeler, which, you know, I don't know if you have a channeling, but this Cryon is one. I'm sure some of you have already heard of Cryon. But he like talks about the whale, how the whale carries all the memories of the human within them. So there are archives.
Interesting. I've not known that.
No, I don't know. So it's an energetic thing, obviously. Anyway, so yeah, we've been training this for lifetimes because, like, I do believe that we have a origin of the light worker.
Yeah.
Like we all landed in Lemuria. Okay. Like, do you have that feeling of that? I mean, I don't even know if it's just a story, it's a narrative, but I know I have anyways, it's just whatever. It's a memory of it. And I have a memory of me in this civilization where I am a light-ish being and I'm working on something, on a diagram. And there's a whole bunch of us lightish human beings-ish. We're not human, but we're light beings. And we're all like, everyone's doing something else. And it's this big pod, like a big, I don't know, white or whatever. It's just something like this. I don't know. It could be a spaceship. I have no idea what it is. And I'm just working. And I continuously see that imagery. And I know that's Lemuria.
That's so cool. I mean, the history that we've been told is complete lies. Yeah. It has to be, because it just doesn't make sense. It's not adding up. Even science, even like anthropology, it's showing that it's not adding up from like the findings that they're finding and the stories. Like there's something that's not adding up. There's big chunks of the story that it's missing. And in terms of the whales, I mean, everybody has a purpose. Everybody has something to offer. So even animals, it has to, right? So, I mean, at this point, I do believe the stories that we've been told about evolution and all that, there's something missing.
Let's not talk about evolution. I don't want to be triggering anybody here.
Or maybe we do.
Maybe we do.
Maybe we do want to be triggering
Charles Darwin. Let's not talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, but there's a whole other like story. There's a whole other background. Charles Darwin, whatever was promoted in the 1950s, is only half of what he was actually saying in his in his
theory
research.
Of evolution.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting. The theory of evolution only came out as a marketing scheme because certain people in power wanted to kind of hone in and cash in on this like idea that certain species and this idea of evolution is the survival of the fittest. I mean, what's the best way to separate people is by saying the only people who survive are the ones that kill other people or that, step on other people. But in his research paper, what I found really interesting was the fact that he himself admits that you cannot survive, a race cannot survive by this theory. It was just a theory that he had, but in his conclusion, he actually states that the real people who survive are people who collaborate with each other and who are united and who actually help each other grow. but it was completely used out of context. They didn't even use that part. It was on an episode of Missing Links with Greg Braden, who's like this anthropologist, and he brings out these elements. I forget in what episode, but it was really, really interesting. So like the stories,
his story,
just stories in general. I mean, question everything. I'm really at this point in my life where it's like question absolutely everything, especially when it's coming from the mainstream, because we've seen it with everything that happened in, let's not even talk about it.
The C word.
Whatever. The whole...
Everything. Our whole lifetime.
The whole psychosis. Let's just call it psychosis. But yeah, our whole lifetime too, if you think about it. Everything is coming out to be false. A big part. And in a certain way, it's supposed to, because we're evolving. So things are not supposed to stay stagnant. We're supposed to evolve with the time. So things that used to be will not be. It's part
and
of...
we're seeing with different eyes.
Yeah. Different perspective, different eyes, different everything.
Like, okay.
So we're not even the same people we were 5 minutes ago. We've literally, like we 5 minutes ago, we're completely different people, and we can be to a certain extent. So it's just like, how are we still basing our information on old story narratives that have been told by people who are just using it for their own gains anyway, for the most part. And they're not even hiding anymore. Like people are not, corruption cannot be hidden, whether you like it or not. It's going to come up to the surface. So the stories, history, well, we're really going into, we went from stage of the light to
fabrication of your past,
which is, I guess, really bringing everything to light.
Bringing everything to life. That's the training of our lifetime. We were supposed to awaken in this world of make-believe. And just think about this. Everything is inverted, right? We always talk about this inverted matrix.
The crumbling.
That's it. The freaking crumbling of the world.
It's like age of the light. Maybe that's what it is. It's us shedding light, not only to our own illusions, but by us doing it to ourselves, our illusions, we're crumbling the illusions of this reality so we can actually step into the truth.
The fairy tale. To me, it's the imagination. To me, I will stand on this, because as a child, I was La La Land, Imaginarium little girl. I was always like, and it was always like, snap out of it, get out of the fantasy world, get out of this world. This is not who you are. It's not. You have to get back to freaking reality. And this is that whole like disconnect. That's the inversion, because my higher self, when I started connecting to my higher self, which is me, my future self, it was like, yo, those fantasy worlds and those imaginary worlds, where you were actually developing them at that age, you were actually creating. And then you were like always snapped back into reality so that we could just live in this robot world of like box. And okay, this is what you have to learn, that 1 + 1 is 2. But what did we learn today? 1 + 1 is 3.
Always 3.
Anyways, we'll talk about that.
Should we get into that now? Or
No.
It was beautiful.
It is. We can talk about that.
Beautiful concept. But before we get into that, it's basically don't step out of the box. Stay into this little small container.
The book says that this happened in 1942 and this happened in 1500. So you have to believe it. Programming.
Yeah.
Unless you have it within you. Like my memories of Lemuria are very strong. So I don't know if it's Lemuria. Could it be somewhere else? I could be off planet for all I know what I was, right? I'm attaching to Lemuria because that's what I'm feeling it. But everyone's story is different. Like she could have a story of, I fully remember myself as a gypsy prostitute. Yes, and you could have been that, right? Like, which I was.
It's very possible. Anything is possible. I know.
We all wanted to learn the experience.
Been there, done that, seen it all. Yeah.
And that's what in the Akashic records, when people come to see me, it's like they always expect to see them. I was a king and a queen, and I was like whatever. I'm like, no, man, you were like a murderer. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, but that was the experience you wanted to learn.
You were a murderer, man. Get out of your La La Land fantasy head.
But it's true, because that's what we came to learn. All of the experience.
Came to learn the dark as much as the light. It's so important.
The dark is the crumble.
The crumbling.
And the light, right?
Well, yeah.
It's one and the same.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyways, 1 + 1 = 3.
1 + 1 = 3.
Oh, look at that, Lemuria. Hello. Maybe it's confirmation. Creating heaven on earth.
I don't remember what it was again. The 1 +
1 + 1 is 3. So 1 is the divine masculine. 2 is the divine feminine, and 3 is the couple.
So it's
it's always the idea of like the what is it? The union, right?
The creation of this union is the third, which so 1 plus 1 always equals 3, because there's going to be 3 components: the masculine, feminine, and the 2 together, basically.
Or 1, the masculine, feminine, the consciousness. It's always 3.
The consciousness, or like, because the way I see it, it's like you're a universe, the other person is a universe, and then you're creating a universe together. It's like you're creating this new universe, which is 3, technically speaking.
I don't know. It's always interesting because it's a trinity.
Yeah.
Which is like we see that in all religions as well. We see that everywhere. The Trinity, and also in the Illuminati. Inversion. Everything's inversion.
Well, I guess you're always going to have the inversion if you're going to have
always. As long as we have this, as long as we're here.
Yeah, because you can't have one without the other.
Yep. Duality.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're going to always have that inversion state. So it's like you can dip into it by allowing your thoughts dip into it, and then you'll enter this inversion state.
It's to find it. It's actually the way I see it is I always see it as like a prism, like in the line, right? So it's like the duality, and then we're trying to find our way to the neutrality, which is like living with the like fully in awareness of each duality, but not attaching to them.
For the purpose of what? To create something new, you think?
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have to stop asking questions.
No, but that's the whole point. Like that we're here. Obviously, we want to ask questions to each other because.
Yeah, we can still ask questions.
Why, and the question
just
is
don't get attached to the answer right away, right? Allow the answer to come to you. At least that's my dilemma.
I mean, it's all of our dilemmas.
The inversion, that's really interesting. This whole idea of like the light, and then you can't have its exact reflection, so you have to have the light with the dark.
It's kind of beautiful, right?
The
triangles.
Yeah, and it comes in together, and this. It's interesting because recently I was reading how you have access to all of the paradigms, including the darker ones and the higher ones, or whatever you want to call it. So one day you could be in the inverted state by cussing people out and being in this victim and why always me, and then the next day you can be in this higher state. And I feel like for a long time, the whole world was in these both polarities, and we've been clearing out these polarities, and now we're getting into this neutral state. I know I've been feeling like that, getting into this neutral state, but it's just like it goes back to the boredom. It's just like this thing.
That's it. That EKG line, like the heartbeat, and then it's the death, right? Death of the old. Look at that.
Wow, we just went full circle. If you haven't watched the other episodes, go ahead, because we talk about the boredom and how the boredom is actually a beautiful, sacred place to have something new emerge. It's very boring.
It's not that it's boring.
No,
it's
true.
It's
a little uncomfortable.
It's meh.
I feel like it's a little uncomfortable. No? Do you feel like you're uncomfortable when you're bored?
Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, and always the answer, I could always hear my future self, like in my head going, nothing, Sabrina, nothing. Can you do nothing? And I'm like, and I'm always like, hello, I'm freaking human. Like one of these days we're going to change places. You're going to become the vessel, and I'm going to be the higher self, and I'm going to be the one like telling you things. I'm laughing. But it's like, it's like now we're talking, and it's fun. The journey right now is like, it's exciting. It's miraculous, right? Like I now that I'm with Katarina here by my side, but tomorrow in an hour when I'm sitting on my couch alone doing nothing, I'm going to be like, and it's that moment of
kind of true though.
I'm like, it's like, why, when, where? And they're like, yo, shut the F up, man. Just be. And it's just like, and it's the human that wants to know. We want to know. We want an explanation. We want to da 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 da. And that's the ego. Welcome to the Trinity. So it's the same thing. And it's, and she was talking to the light, the dark, but sometimes the dark is the good and the light is the evil. Like it doesn't, there's no like we always like good and evil, dark is really shadow.
Yeah, like that perspective is like the kid that's angry at the mother because they don't want to give them a donut for breakfast, you know? At that moment, the kid thinks it's in hell, right? But what he perceives as bad is actually the mother's full love for this child to not give that piece of sugar that early in the morning. You know what I mean? Like this is all about
interesting. Yeah. Perception.
It's all about
perception.
We think, and this was part of what I learned in Colombia, where it's just like exactly what we think is bad and what people do to us is bad on the same time could be a blessing in disguise, because I don't want to keep saying purpose, because it gets annoying every time we say, oh, there's a purpose, there's a reason for everything. But the reality is what we think is poisonous or bad could actually be what gets us to that state of love for ourselves.
But that brings the question though, like it's interesting.
I can't find
it's interesting that she brought this up, because she's saying like what feels bad is actually a blessing, right? It's actually us honoring our journey.
It can be a blessing, yeah.
Yeah, but that means like if we look at that, then it's like, oh, then that bad relationship and that man or that woman that hurt me emotionally, physically, like mentally, blah blah blah, was there for a reason, right? Was a blessing. And you're like, wow, what do you mean? Because they're there to show you that you don't need blah blah, or you are a loving being on your own, or whatever it's showing
yourself, or that,
you know, that it's just like that. And these are the blessings. Like everyone thinks a blessing is, oh, I got money, like it's like superficial, but the blessings come in the most strange ways, right?
That's true. Yeah, 100%.
In the most unexpected ways, which feel at a human level feel like the worst and most painful. But if I look back now, when that guy stole that money from me, let's say, that was a fucking blessing for me, because now I know I know the attachment I had on why I was giving this money was because I wanted love. So I equated money with love, and anyways, we can go on this one, but
it's true. What it is. It's like perspective is super important in these things, and a lot of the times we think that what's bad for us is not a blessing because we haven't transmuted the attachment we have with this thing being bad.
Mm-hmm. Like she said in the last episode, we haven't defined this in our minds. Like it's a definite, like it's almost like the ego wants to define everything, right? So in our definition, in our vocab, in our dictionary of our mind, this is equated with this. Yeah. So it becomes a program.
Yeah. So we can't see the blessing. We cannot see it. So I almost feel like, and I mean, we're all going through it. I'm still going through certain
me too.
Cycles that are coming up. But a big part of the ones that we don't see as blessing is because we haven't really accepted. Probably we haven't accepted that this could be a blessing. So we don't have enough space, or there's no room in our mind to actually bring in this idea that it could be a blessing. What part of it is a blessing? But also this, like what you said in terms of definition. We're always trying to categorize good and bad, right and wrong. But what if it's not true? What if there's nothing that's good or bad? Then what?
Yeah. So then it's just what it is. Going, but yeah. I know. It's like, but it's just like
very fresh. I find
it's not to like. We as a human, we want to attach again. It goes back to attachment. But I think all these podcasts are going to end up we're going to end up repeating a lot of the same things, because ultimately that is what we're clearing. It's like this attachment to he did this to me, and blame and shame and victimization and self-pity. This is like a huge thing in the human collective. It's like, he did this to me, and she did this to me, and this was done to me. And it's like, okay, it was, But can you step outside of it? And can you forgive that person and release that person? Because it's really something you need to deal with. And not see it as them. See that they brought it to your attention.
And what is it that they're bringing to your attention too? You made a good point with like you were attached with money because that's how, not only that you showed love, but how you felt like you needed to receive love is to give money so you can get the love back to yourself, when in reality you needed to give that to yourself first. So anyways, I feel like it's gonna be clearer maybe in the next episodes, but right now the best example I feel so far was a mother not giving a donut to their child first thing in the morning, like for breakfast. It feels like hell, but it's actually a blessing because he's not going to be tainted with this sugar early in the morning, and it's not going to affect their brain. But the kid doesn't feel that until he gets older, and then he realizes, oh, this is why we don't eat donuts early in the morning, right? So it's just like, I almost want to say it's time, but I guess I have a lot of resistance to patience and time right now. So when I say that, and I'm like, yeah, no.
But what is time?
I'm not there yet. But what is time? Yes. But we're still in time, in this time frame of human experience.
Yeah.
Until we're not, right?
Yeah.
So
the only time is like set again by the box people.
by the box people. That's interesting. I guess we'll leave it at that this time around.
Wow, really? Okay, we'll leave it with the box people. So, because we got a lot
people.
more to talk about. Anyways, it's us. So,
well, I mean,
literally, it's us. So,
I feel like we went from light and dark to blessings, and now I almost feel like I need to take a step back
and like
just like
examine my life,
contemplate this a little more. Yeah. But what do you guys think? Yeah. Do you believe that all experiences are blessings? And if you do, how do you transmute these blessings that look like hell or feel like hell? I would like to know, actually. Like, how do you see these as blessings, like true blessings? And there's millions of them. There's millions of people that talk about how, oh, wow, if this guy hadn't done this to me, who knows where I would be, right?
I did it again, and I got the age of light.
There you go. Basically, the age of light. That's what we're bringing things to light, right? We're bringing things to light within ourselves, and therefore that will affect the collective because we're all connected, right?
You've been training this for a lifetime, so things are coming up. You're remembering things. You know that this is the whole journey, people. It's like, it's not for us to ask why, what, where, when, who, blah blah blah. It's to trust the remembrance, because it's coming out. It's coming to form. It's coming out. Like, it'll come when you're ready. And this is the thing that what do you mean? I want to know now. I'm human. I want to know everything yesterday. Yeah, that's really good, actually. And it's like, no, man, you don't. And in your higher self, or whatever, God self is like, yeah, you want to know now? Well, I'm going to bring you back 500 steps. So you learn your lesson.
It's almost like you don't want to be premature to know these information, because you probably won't even know what to do with this information once it hits. So this idea of like, you're not supposed to know now, and to be okay with it. And it's part of that experience of experiencing this journey, right?
Yeah. It's just that, like, we want to know now. Yeah. We are like hasty, and it's like, let's start this new earth already. And maybe it's not ready, right? The earth, to start the new earth. But we're doing really good, by the way.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think we're doing excellent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't know how I feel.
Well, I from my inner knowing, in 2022 April, we actually laid down the grids of the new earth.
Interesting.
And that's why 2023 was a whole year of clearing. And 2024 is going to get lighter, and 2025 is going to be like moment. From what I see. And 2026 is going to go into a little bit of whoop. And 2027 is going to be like change. Oh my God. It's like the years have passed so fast, right? For me, it was like yesterday was 2020 when I was locked down.
It's true. No, that's it, like, especially now, I find 2024, I feel like it's
Like, what the hell's
in
gone on in the past
April.
4 years? So much. The whole world like completely went
Shifted.
through like a massive shift.
It's true.
Anyways, all right. It's good.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. We have, if you're going to be joining us, you know that we're going to be talking. We have a lot.
We have a lot to say.
And that's why these guys, they're unscripted. So it's whatever.
It's whatever shows up.
Whatever shows up.
And apparently it ties into all the other episodes so far. And it's true,
All
we're
right.
clearing out the same things. So there could be a couple of things
Also,
that come
I'm going
back,
to tell you
but
this
in a
is that
different way.
Katarina and I are of high frequency. So when you do watch these episodes, you might get activated. I'm pretty sure you will be activated. You'll start to transmute a lot more energies around you. So hydrate while you're watching or after, and rest. Like, I'm not even joking.
I agree in the sense of like everything that we're talking about, your body already knows, your mind already, your soul already knows. So by you listening, by you listening to us, you're just helping the remembrance come through. So, certain things could
Shift.
Could shift and needs time to integrate. So if you feel like you need to rest and take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, go to bed early, take a bath, or like just water is like one of the
Purifying.
It's the most receptive molecule and is here to cleanse. Its ultimate goal is to cleanse. So if you can drink nice, as pure water as you can to just release all that, or just help the integration, do it. Yeah, 100% agree on that. And let us know. What do you think?
All right.
What do you think?
What do you think? Okay. Bye, guys.
Ciao!
Love you.
Should I put my theme song again?
Let's go. Lo-fi.
Till next time, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.